Hello and welcome back to Capo TV. Today I'm going to share with you what I've been up to since I quit substitute teaching. For those of you that follow me on Instagram at Capo TV, you may have already figured out what it is I'm doing now instead of substitute teaching. I've decided to work full-time as a mover, and I'm working on getting my Class B commercial driver's license. But the more important thing that I've done is join Toastmasters. Toastmasters is an international communication and leadership development club. Think public speaking in high school or college, only it doesn't cost you $3,000 per class. My goal right now is to not be a truck driver or mover for the rest of my life. I think I want to be a professional speaker, and Toastmasters is going to help me figure that out. And now for your viewing pleasure, here's the first speech that I did at Toastmasters last week. It's the Icebreaker Speech. This speech is supposed to introduce a new member to the group, and I chose to focus on my job history and how I got to today. Roll the video. This was my destiny. What you're looking at is a moving strap. It's usually used to secure furniture in the back of a moving truck or trailer. But this strap has been on my shoulders for almost my entire life. They would say, moving's in your blood, or you're a cap, you were born to move. You've got to continue the family legacy. You see, my dad has been a mover for over 45 years, and he's done every job there is to do in the business, including driving. And at this point, he'll never not be a mover. My uncle's a driver, and he's been a mover just as long as my dad. My brother got his start as a truck driver by spending almost a decade as a mover. Even my dad's dad, long ago, though I never met him, was a mover. And I got my first taste of humping furniture during the summer of my junior year in high school. I was determined, though, to not become a lifer. So I've had my fair share of jobs over the years. That's why I've only spent 8 of the last 14 summers working as a mover. My first attempt to escape my moving destiny was my early years in college when I was a Walmart photo lab technician. That was a pretty good job, but eventually the corporate retail environment and the crappy management team drove me away. I went back to the moving company with my dad, uncle, and brother for the rest of my summers during college. After college, I spent almost 2 years working as a debt collector. That was an interesting job. And I learned a lot about sales, communication, finance, and economics, but that was part of the problem. The more I learned about economics and finance, the more I hated debt, and the more I resented the banks that we were supposed to be working for. So eventually, I stopped collecting enough money in the eyes of the company. I was fired solely for that reason, and I was fine with that. I didn't go right back to moving this time, though. Instead, I went into a related field, truck brokering and dispatching. The first time that I walked across the lot at Luca Freezer in Vineland, I said to myself, this is where I'm supposed to be. The sights, sounds, and smells of the 18-wheelers brought back all the good memories of the moving company. Only this time, I would be behind a desk organizing transportation for over 400 pallets of fruit and vegetables every single day. I was hoping someone would bring a piece of fruit today, because that piece of fruit is a logistical miracle. There was a saying that people used to espouse in the office, is that there are a lot of hands in the cookie jar. And oh, there's a banana. This banana came from a very long distance. With the number of hands that went into getting this banana here tonight, it's astonishing that anything gets to where it's supposed to be in the first place. But after 2 solid years of working 60 to 70 hours a week, sometimes until 1 o'clock in the morning, coming in at 8 the day before, I had had enough. So I hatched a new scheme to avoid my moving destiny. I was going to become a high school social studies teacher. So I renewed my sub-certificate, I quit my job as a broker dispatcher, and I went back to Rowan to take 2 extra history classes in order to qualify for my K through 12 teaching certificate. So I spent the next 3 years working as a substitute teacher, hoping that one day I would get a full-time position. There was one small problem, though. School's only in session 180 days a year. So what do you think I did during the summers? Now that the school has started again, I don't wear a shirt and tie to work anymore. And I realized a long time ago that I didn't want to be a public school teacher, and I didn't want to be a part of that school system. And it's been 14 years
since I first felt the weight of this strap. And at this point in my life, it's not as heavy as I thought it would be. That's why I finally decided to try on my destiny and become another driver in the family legacy, even if it turns out just to be temporary. Thank you.
Overall, for my first speech in front of a live audience, I think that went pretty good. What did you think? Did you love it? Did you hate it? Let me know in the comments down below. And if this was your first time here to Capo TV and you think school is a joke and you want to explore topics related to that idea, hit that subscribe button now so you don't miss anything in the future. Thanks for watching. See you later. Bye.